I'm flying solo as you see here. Welcome to Ninja Oyaji Paul channel. 今日は多分全部英語、ほとんど英語じゃないですかね。So we'll probably be speaking all in English today because we don't have Skada-san or any special guests here today. Skada-san was a little bit under the weather, had a little bit of fever, so he can't make it today. So we're hoping for a speedy recovery for Skada-san. So まあ日本語で言うとSkada-sanはちょっと熱出して、まあオミクロンじゃないと思うんだけどね。
あ、もう違います。今日もう具合は良くなってるけど。
So he's already getting better today, but we thought we'd give him the day off just to get a little better. And you know, we're gonna be busy this next week making some nice videos for y'all. これからね、スカラさんが忙しくなるしね、だからちょっと休ませてね、今日ね。So, I don't know if you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. I'm flying solo here. I can talk about just about anything you want to talk about. We got about a half an hour to go. Maybe you want to know, I've been going to the Sensei's exhibition quite regularly now because it's literally like 5 minutes from my house here. And every time I go, it's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. Not just the things that are on display, right? There's a lot of things on display, right? Like yaris and
塚田さん早く元気になってくださいって。
Yeah, we do hope that 塚田さんは元気になってほしいね。We hope that.
なんて読むんだっけこれ？シェーンだっけ？ショーン。
Sean ね、Sean ね。ありがとう Sean. Thank you Sean for that comment. We definitely hope 塚田さん gets well soon. He's getting better already, right? もうだいぶ良くなったしね。
熱はもうないです。
熱はもうない。So he's got no more fever, and he's just feeling a little bit, you know, kind of, fatigued today. So we're gonna let him rest. And so I get to go to the museum or the exhibition almost like every other day, and I'm just always amazed that the more I go, the more I appreciate the depth of Hatsumi Sensei's teachings.
日本人の方が、ザッキーやるおさん。とても風情のあるお部屋で素敵ですね。とてもいいお部屋ですねって。
ありがとうございます。まあね、僕もいろいろね、初見先生もね、初見先生は本当にいいものいっぱい持ってるよね。本当に珍しいこう古いものを先生持ってるね。まあそれ多分先生からそういうセンスを、俺も影響されてるんですよね。こういう観音様。今度ね、大きな不動明王、すごいかっこいいのを手に入った。今度見せますね、皆さん。本当にかっこいい不動明王。
金属？木の木造。
So I've got this other beautiful wooden 不動明王 that's going to come. Some of you might have seen it. It was in one of my other houses. It's about this big. It's gorgeous. You're going to see it. But all this is from Sensei. I like the monkeys here. I don't know if you can see the monkeys here. The see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Got the Kano-sama. We got a few darumas here. Some really cool stuff here. So, yeah, if you ever have a chance, いつかぜひ遊びに来てくださいね、皆さん。これかなりね、珍しいものいっぱいありますね。ぜひ見てもらいたいね。So come and visit when you can. I'd love to show you what we got here and tell you some of the stories behind it.
日本の方もね、質問があればどんどん書き込んでください。
So again, if you're in Japan and you watch this on your lunch break and you have some questions, write your questions in the comments. We have the master behind the black curtain over here reading out the comments. So please keep them coming, and we'll try to answer them. So, anyways, going back to this exhibition, I feel quite lucky because it's been very fortunate or serendipitous that my students from Yokohama Dojo saying, "Hey, we want to go see the exhibition." And yesterday, one of them called me up and said, "I'm coming. I'll be in the station in like 5 minutes." Normally you're like, "Ah, damn it, I got things to do. I can't go to the station." But I'm like, "Oh, great, Ando-san came. I picked him up. We went right to the exhibition. Sensei showed up. The moment we got there, Sensei showed up." So all these kind of very what you trying to do?
ポールさん、机にあるのは何ですか？
机にあるのは焼き魚。実はね、これ日本人の視線ですか？
はい、函館徹さん。
よくね行くお店ね、焼き魚本当に美味しいんですよ。で今日行ってマスターとちょっと喋ったらね、もうたくさんを食べてくれました。でこれをなんだろうね、友達にあげようと思ったんだけどね、後で食べますって言ったからこのまんまです。一番最高級な鮭です。So we look forward to eating that after this live. This is some of this really great.
コメントですね。マーシャルアーツフォーライフさん。ニューヨークからこんにちは。
New York. Thank you very much, New York. Hello.
あなたと家族の調子はどうですか？
日本人ですか？
英語ですね。
英語? Okay. So yeah, we're all great here in Kasumi here. Everyone is growing big, like weeds. We have Donzo growing up. He's like 2.5 now. He doesn't speak much, but man, he understands whatever we do. So he's grown up. We got Toramaru, you know, the tiger. He's coming up too, doing wonderful. Tomoe's great. I'm great. We're all doing good. The Yokohama students, the people who are training with us in Yokohama are all fantastic. The team is normally good. Tsukada-san just had a little bit of a fever, but otherwise, we're all good. Hatsumi Sensei is good. Ishizuka Sensei is good. Furuta Sensei is good. All the guys that I see often now in the Bujinkan are doing great. So no need to worry about us.
映像を作るっていう話してもいいんじゃないですか？
映像。
野田市の。
So again, we are in the process now. We have permission to make a video about that exhibition from Nodashi. Now we just have to kind of submit to them a kind of a plan of what we want to film, and we're gonna do that today. Then we're gonna start to film this thing hopefully this week or next week, and get a video out there. There's already a video of the exhibition in Japanese with Ishizuka Sensei, but I want to get a few words from Hatsumi Sensei in on it and do a little bit differently. Kind of go into the background of some of the weapons and also some of the quotes that are on the wall from Sensei's Mutonori book and Ninpo Daizen, I think was the name of the book, that has not been translated into English yet. And I understand why, because it's a very, very difficult book to translate in English. Very philosophical, very deep. So I do want to kind of go into that. In fact, I think I'm going to be doing some Zoom calls, maybe one next week, to kind of go into some of those quotes with you, talk about the way that Sensei changes the characters and what that can mean in the overall kind of scheme of things. It's almost like a mind mapping when Sensei makes a quote, right? It sends your mind off and it's like a million different directions. That's what I love about Hatsumi Sensei's writing. So we're going to go off on that, I think maybe on a Zoom call next week. So if you're interested in that, we'll try to post when it's going to be. I think it'll be Wednesday night for you all over there in America. So yeah.
さくらさんから、
さくらさん。
はい、忍者懐かしい奈良だか三重だかの忍者屋敷に行って楽しかったことがあります。
どこの？
忍者が懐かしい。で、スーパーチャットくれてます。
ありがとうございます。スーパーチャットありがとうございました。さくらさん。忍者ね、忍者面白いね。多
分初めて来てくれた方です。初めて見てる。
ありがとうございます。今度僕たちもね、ああいう忍者の友達が最近増えてますのでね、あちこちのその忍者のビレッジとか行ってみんなと友達になりたいと思うので、ぜひちょっとステイチューンでこれから作りますのでよろしくお願いします。So we're going to go meet a bunch of people and visit places all around Japan and in America and introduce to everybody some different friends, some different ninja friends, some different people that in different walks of life that use ninjutsu as well here in Japan and overseas. Hopefully when this Omicron is done, we're going overseas. We're going to take the master behind the camera here. We're going to take him over there. We're going to do some fun stuff. So I just want to thank you all for watching and supporting us.
質問ですね。多分日本人の方です。チームいずるはらさん。ポール先生に武道と大道芸を英語で教えていただくことは可能でしょうか？
大道芸と
武道と大道芸。
全然 OK ですよ。
これはズームのことなのかな？
ズームね。ズームできる限り頑張って教えますね。忍術と大道芸ってなんか2つにはならないよね。
英語で教えてほしい。
I can teach you in English too. Yeah, so we can teach you in English about. So the question here is from I think it's a Japanese.
でも日本語で書いてます。
Maybe it's a Japanese person. We think if you're interested in learning, ninjutsu and daidoge, of course, that's what I always do. I don't think they're separate, really. I think that they're very connected and really the same. That's what I learned when I went into daidoge. It was only because Hatsumi Sensei told me to do like magic and juggling and to learn how to I don't know, carry yourself, be presentable, and interact with large amounts of people. So for me, they're not separate. So yeah, I'd be happy to share with anybody my experience with that and maybe some ideas that could help you if you want to do that as well.
興味があればかすみ庵の方にメールしていただければ大丈夫ですか？
そう。So if you're interested in that, just mail us, send us an email at Kasumi-an, and we'll happily get together with you.
YouTube の概要欄にアドレスが載ってると思います。よろしくお願いします。
So as you probably heard in Japanese, probably in the comments of YouTube, you can find our email address here. If you want to know anything or set something up like an online lesson, please let us know. We're willing to do anything. We're having a good time and we want to spread the joy.
他に質問のある方、ぜひ
Anybody
よろしくお
else
願いし
with
ます。
questions? So we've been very fortunate. Like I want to say, like for example, yesterday Ando-san just called me up out of the blue, so I'm going to be at Noda Station in 5 minutes. And so I was like, great. And I dropped what I was doing, and I got in the car, I picked him up, and we got to the exhibition, and Hatsumi Sensei showed up like a minute later. So these kind of serendipitous, these really great moments. It's quite these coincidences, you might say, so to speak, are fantastic, and it's been happening a lot with my students coming up from Yokohama. They about 2 days before that, Joe Kobayashi came up, and same thing. We sat around my house, had coffee and stuff, and then we just decided, oh, let's go to the exhibition now. We went there. Natsumi Sensei was there, so it's just really, really wonderful how things flow, and I hope you all can come up and visit that exhibition as well. Maybe even see Sensei.
龍神ケビンさんという方が、
Eugene Kevin.
はい、はい、ポールって。
Hi, Kevin. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. I think it's important to, sometimes we have busy schedules and we're so kind of overwhelmed sometimes with what we want to get done, like, but just to take the time to, go with that natural rhythm, that natural flow when it appears, and take the opportunities when people show up on your doorstep. Sensei was always like that. Sensei said, one time he was in his office and his phone was ringing and he was busy, and people were like, "Oh, Sensei, don't answer the phone." And he's like, "No, I have to answer the phone." They're like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, what if that person on the other end of that phone calling me is in dire need and I can help them?
はい、質問です
I think
ね。
that's a wonderful way to be.
コメントですね。タツさんという方です。
Tatsu-san?
はい、浅山一伝会の方のライブにもよく来てくれてる方
Ah,
ですね。は
Tatsu-san.
い、
Okay. Konnichiwa, Tatsu-san.
はい、お疲れ様です。
お疲れ様です。
ぜひ今度の企画で竹を使ってなぎなたとか槍を作ってみてほしいです。
もう竹槍ね。
竹槍かな。
ああ、竹槍が一番、簡単だね。じゃあそうしようね。
作ってみますか。
いいね。じゃあぜひ。So, Tatsu-san wants us to make a bamboo spear or naginata. I think the bamboo spear is easier. You just have to cut that nice and sharp. Then you've got a nice takeari, right? Whichあれ戦争で使ったっけ？
うん。
They
まあそうだ
probably
ね。
use these kind of spontaneous weapons in the wars as well.
侍が使うものではないね。侍は使わないけどね。
Yeah. So samurai would probably not use them, but you make best of what you have. Also, I always thought New Year's にね、門松があって、いつもね、これいいやりだなっていつも思うんだよね。やっぱり武術やってる、武術バカの俺がね、いつもそう思うんだね。
ちょっと太すぎるけどね。
Yeah, it's a bit thick, but still, maybe you put them in a hole like 落ち穴みたいにこう使えるよね。
落とし穴。
そう、落とし穴ね。
さっきのいずるはらさん、英語も教えてほしいです。
Yeah, sure, no
さっきの
problem.
人ですね。
英語多分教えるのは悪い言葉しか教えないかもしれないけど、それでよければもうスケベな話ガンガン英語でやりますね。So I said if you want to learn English, no problem, but I always start with the dirty stuff, so be careful. Also, we have these things called kadomatsu at the New Year's where they have like 3 or 4 like these really sharp cut bamboos sitting there with some matsu around it, with some pine tree leaves around it. It's a common New Year's decoration, and whenever I pass those by, I think, oh man, those would make a great, a yari, a takiari, or a bamboo yari, right? It's because I'm probably, martial arts crazy. And then my friend here says, oh, they're too thick, right? Because they're quite thick, right? I said, well, you just put them in those pits you fall into then, right? So I guess we're crazy when we do martial arts. We always think about stuff like that.
質問来てますね。
Yes, sir.
はい、ウィリアム・バローズさん。
William Butters. Cheers.
ちょっとゆっくり読みますね。
Okay.
高松先生、初期の初見先生、大栗先生、石塚先生、みんな構えが低いと思うのですが、構えが低い。なぜ晩年の初見先生は構えが高いのですか？ 構えの高い低いで何が違いますか。
わお。ウィリアム・バロさんは英語できるのかな。
多分ゴリゴリの日本人だと思います。
まあ最初はやっぱ構えは深い方が重心も落ちるしね、足のこう期待にはなるよ。
鍛錬になる。
そう。でも晩年は初見先生はね、やっぱり年取ってね、そんなあんまりできないし、プラス空間をよく使ったりして供述をメインにしたりしてムード取りの雰囲気をこう書いていたんだね、その瞬間は面白かったね。でも、それ見ててね、僕もね、初見先生はまだ低い構えとかね、すごい元気な動きできる初見先生と一緒に稽古したんだけどね、多分70歳の半ばくらいからね、その筋肉がね急にこう減ったりするんだね、で少しずつ先生の雰囲気は変わったね、やっぱりその供述とか空間とかタイミングとか間合いとかをもっと使うようになったんだね、まあそういうのはあると思うんだ。別に深い構えがいいとも言えないね、ずっとね、高い構えは悪いとも言えないしね、だからまあ自然な動きをメインにしたんだな。それからね。So the question was, Sensei used low kama in the beginning and then you got higher and higher in his kama, and they said, well, what's the difference? Is it good or bad? I said, look, you can't say one is better than the other. Really, I know some people go crazy and say, what are you talking about, Paul, you idiot? Maybe I'm an idiot, I don't know. But I said when Sensei got about mid-70s, he started to change a bit. Because of course we know that the body loses muscle. There's not much you can do about that as you get older, except keep training. And Sensei did, right? But he changed. He changed from using a lot of muscle. I don't say he was using a lot of muscle, but he changed from a very physical kind of taijutsu to more of a ethereal, where he was using space, timing, and kyojutsu to kind of unbalance and defeat the uke, right? And I think that it doesn't really matter about the kamae so much. It really matters about the kokorogama が大切なんだよね。それよりも肉体的な構えは必要かもしれないけど、心構えが一番大切なんだよ。心構えが正しければね、低い高いはね、どっちも使えるよね。So I say, it depends upon the stance of your heart too, over the physical stances, right? So if you have a proper heart stance, I think you can use low and high. It doesn't really matter. Again, it kind of goes back to our saying, Kyojaku Jugo, Arubekarazu. So there's some gokui that talk about this, right?
ボリビアのファントムさんという方から挨拶ですね。ボリビア。Bolivia. Bolivia, thank you for showing up from so far away. We certainly appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us. I hope that you're getting the stories I'm speaking in Japanese and in English, because I know I'm going fast here. So if you want me to slow down or any more questions, or if you want me to clarify some points that I'm talking about, please feel free to leave us in the comments. Especially without Scott-san here, I feel like I'm kind of whipping along. ウィリアムさんありがとうございますと。
ウィリアムさんありがとう。いつもコメントしてくれてありがとうございます。So we certainly appreciate you, William-san, always commenting on the YouTube channel. That really, really helps us out. And it really motivates us to keep going. So ありがとう。いつもコメントしてくれて本当にウィリアムさんの力になってるよ。本当にありがとうございます。
あとちょっとですね。質問がある方はどんどん出してください。もうすぐ終わります。
10 minutes left here. So, of course, please put your comments, put your questions in the sections below, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. But I do want to give a shout out to all my friends around the world who support us and who watch the videos. I've got some really great videos. I think they're great on the English channel about some things that might help you out with like the what's called in Japanese seishin teki shugyo, like kind of the heart stance. So go ahead and check out the English channel. We're going to be putting them up on the Japanese channel as well. But if you haven't, subscribe to both, because the timing on those are a little bit different. And I'm trying to put one up this week, but I've been so busy with the kids and the exhibition and stuff like this that I haven't quite made it. It's going to be on the idea of Bujin and how you can change that to mean different meanings. So stick around, hang out for that video. That's coming up very soon, probably the next 3 or 4 days, I hope.
忍者は弓も使うのでしょうか。
何でも使う。Is this a Japanese person?
そうです。
そう、弓もちろん何でも使う。 こだわりがないんだよね、忍者ね。どんなの使うよね。武芸18番とかあるんですよね。まずそれをマスターしてね、忍者になるんだね。だからそれは全部入ってますね。弓、槍、なぎなた、刀、ナイフ、体術、隠し武器ね。
どんどん質問来ましたね。
Okay.
はい。
So yes, of course, ninja used arrows and bow and arrows. He used everything. We don't have any. We love all weapons, right? Of course, the weapons. What drives the weapons is the taijutsu, right? So the first and foremost is learning the taijutsu, and then that drives all the weapons.
ヘンリーさんという方。
Henry san. Oh, nice name. That's my middle name and one of my son's middle names too.
まあ英語の質問ですね。9流派のうち一番好きな流派は何ですか？
So the question is, out of all the 9 Ryuha, which do you like the best? Well, I don't think there's a Ryuha that I like the best. I like them all. Of course they say that Koto-ryu and Gyoko-ryu are the foundations of Ninpo, right? Where kind of things blossomed out from. So those are kind of, I work on those a lot. But I really can't even say that because I work on the feeling of Hatsumi Sensei a lot, which was the amalgamation, which was the kind of combination of, I think, all the schools. So more than a school, I try to stay true to my teacher's feeling, Hatsumi Sensei's feeling of how he taught us and what he taught us. And I know that was different for different periods of time that he taught. But I was with him for 27 years. I think I got a pretty good snapshot of what he was trying to convey. So with that in mind, I don't really have a favorite school, but I try to stay true to what and how my teacher conveyed what was important in his movement to us. Hope that makes sense.
函館さんから、ポールさんはウエイトトレーニングはしますか？
ウェイトトレーニングはしてます。昔はガンガンやってました。アホみたいにね、でかくなった。So the question was, do you do weight training? I said, yes, I do. And in the past, I did so much weight training that I got super huge. I was drinking, creatine and all these different proteins, and I got massive. I'll try to find some pictures and put them up, and you won't believe it. I was over 90 kilos. Now I'm 72. And I remember I was big. And here's the funny thing, is I've told the story before, but as I got bigger, でかくなった時はね、体重が悪くなった。すごいでかくなった時に90キロ以上の時ね、体重が逆に下手になったんだね。力を使うようになった。しかもあまり痛くないじゃん、筋肉がいっぱいあるしね、動かなくなっちゃうしね。だからもう本当に良くなかったね。その時先生に初めて俺に言ったよ。ボールでかいたくさんの筋肉はそうでもない、そういうことじゃないんだ。もっと違うところを掴んでほしいって言われたんだ。その瞬間、はっと思って、and then I slimmed down. そこからちょっとシューッとなったんだね。So when I was super big, Sensei told me one day, came to the dojo, patted my big chest, he said, it's not about having all this muscle. There's something else I want you to grab. There's something else that's more important. And that's when I slimmed down. That being said, I still do weight training about 3 times a week. Not very heavy, not very crazy, but enough to keep this muscle as we get older, right? 筋肉を保つために、年取るとき今54歳だからね。やっぱちょっと大切なんだね、筋肉を維持するために。
さっきね、カンさん、コメントなんか消えちゃったんだけど、もっとポールさんの体術を受けてみたいですってコメントありました。
Kan-san, thank you very much. Kan-san is Kan Sensei's son. Thank you so much for joining us. It's such a pleasure to have you here with your insights and your stories and your training. So thank you so much for showing up. And Kan-san said he'd like to experience my taijutsu more. He'd like to do the uke more. And that's a huge compliment. So thank you so much, Kan-san. He said, I feel a bit like Sensei. And that's really, really, it makes me very happy because that's what I'm trying to do, is to stay true to my teacher. So thank you. Come anytime, Kan-san, and we'll train together again. It's always a pleasure to have you. And of course, tell your father, Kan-sensei, we said hello. Give him our best.
さっきのタツさんからの、寸鉄の解説とか使い方も見たいと。
あ、そう。
はい。前にやったかもしれないけど。
We did a little bit of suntetsu before, but sure, I've got some here in the house. Suntetsu いっぱいあるからね。This person wants us to show a little about how to use suntetsu. So yeah, we could do some suntetsu techniques. You know, it's they're very painful if you have the real suntetsu, right? But we can do that. Again, these things are not that difficult. They're just using taijutsu with metal sticks in your hands. So, but we'll be happy to show you that. I think you'll like it as well. ぜひぜひsuntetsuの使い方をやりますね。体術がやっぱメインなんだよね。suntetsuを使うよりも体術をやりながらsuntetsuを持つだけなんだね。だけどそう言ってもね、楽しいよね。痛いしね。
さっきのヘンリーさん、九流派のうちどれが好きですかって言った方から、素晴らしい回答です。ありがとうございました。
Henry, thank you. I hope my answers help you all out a bit. I know we're in vastly different positions all around the world and training with different people and stuff like that, but I hope that helps you. That being said, I love all the Ryuha, so I love the weapons from the Shinryu, I love the taijutsu of the Takagi Yoshinryu. So it's very hard to pick one. So study them all, and I think once you study them all, you're gonna start to see not so much differences, but you're gonna find similarities if you keep training. So that's something else to think about, right?
デイビッドさん。
David, thank you for showing up.
はい。武人館のトレーニングは慣れるのがすごく難しい。柔らかく変えていくためにはどうすればいいのか、これについて話すことができますか。
これ英語の質問？
英語です。
Wow. 通訳うまいね。
うまくはないです。
Wow, he's gotten really good at translating the English questions. So he's asking, it's difficult to get used to Bujinkan training, to go from like a very stiff and powerful art to a more soft and flowing art. And I don't know if that's really Bujinkan, really, to be honest with you, but because there is very much strength inside the movement that can appear soft. But how do we do that? How do we train? Well, I think the most important part is to find a teacher who can actually embody that type of softness with strength inside of it, so that you don't get confused that it's just all soft, right? Also, you have to start to understand that the simplest way to think is that, we have the Gokui, and I said it just a few minutes ago, right? Kyojaku Jugo, Anubekurazu, not strong, not weak, not soft, not hard. To separate yourself from the ideas of these strong and weak, especially strong and weak. We always have an attachment to these, and we think of strong as powerful and fast and of course very mighty. But in real warfare, in real combat, we see that it's not like these bodybuilders and the strongest guys that are the ones that survive, right? In fact, like in the if you've read anything about the SEAL teams, right, it's kind of the gray man, the man that doesn't really stick out. He's just your average Joe that often does the best in the training, right? So getting away from ideas. We know that in real situations, children can kill adults, and adults can kill children. I mean, and women can kill men, and much stronger opponents than them, right? So the first thing you have to understand when you do Bujinkan is we're not talking about ring fighting. We're not talking about a competition, right? So that's why I have no interest of going into like a ring with somebody and trying to fight in that manner, because of course you'll be constrained by the rules of fighting versus surviving. So the first thing you have to do is probably get your mind around that idea of what we're trying to achieve when we're training in ninjutsu or Bujinkan, right?
日本人の方の質問です。
I hope that helps you out. Sure.
手裏剣にも大変熟達しておられますが、棒手裏剣のコツはありますでしょうか。
Relax. So the question was, he says he's noticed on the videos that I'm quite proficient with shuriken. What is kind of the most important thing with bow shuriken? I think the most important thing with bow shuriken is relaxing, is to not, in the beginning, to not use too much power. I know a lot of people try to throw the shuriken in the beginning, which I did too. これ日本語だっけ？
日本語です。
そう、力を使わないことが大切なんだ、最初ね。もちろん後は力をつけてもいいんだけどね。最初はリラックスして、もうあれだ、瞑想みたいなもんだよね、最初ね。筋肉を柔らかくして、リラックスして、手裏剣が自分で飛んでいくような感じを得得して、そこからこう体重を使って 手裏剣を投げることが大切なんじゃないかなとか思ったりする。まあ一番ね、まあいろんな小さいとこいっぱいあるよね。指の使い方、手の使い方とかね、いろいろあるんだけどね。でも最初は多分ね、力を抜いて、そのコツを覚えた方がいいかもしれないね。もし手裏剣習いたいんですが、ぜひくすみ屋に来て、手裏剣一緒にやりましょうね。So come to Kasumi and we can teach you more about that for sure.
藤岡さんから。
藤岡さん、よろしくお願いします。
いつも楽しい動画をありがとうございます。
いや、こちらこそありがとう、見てくれて。
武道を続けていて、特にこれは良かったということはありますか
Yeah, so the question is, by doing martial arts, what was the best thing? Wow. ライフを楽しめるようになった。人生が豊かになっちゃう。ちゃんとした武術をやってるとね、人生がね、もうめっちゃこう、いろんな人と会ったり、いろんな、今の嫁はんは武術のおかげで、あったりして、今の子供も武術から生まれてきたしね、もうすべてもうライフをもういろんな色をつけてくれたんだね。豊かな人生になるんだね。本当に初見先生のおかげで、まあ今の俺がいるのは初見先生のおかげで、武術のおかげで、武人科のおかげでね、心が広くなっちゃうしね。それが一番かもしれないね。大きな心をみんなと接することができる。So the most important thing about martial arts for me was that it brought such enrichment to my life in terms of like meeting people and health and meeting my wife, having my children, everything I can contribute to the study of martial arts and the Bujinkan and Hatsumi Sensei's teaching. So when you say what's the best thing, well, I don't know. Life is good. That's the best thing.
デイビッドさんから。
デイビッド、
はい、
Hello, David.
ナイフも投げますか？手裏剣だけじゃなくてナイフも投げますかっていう質問ですね。
Of course, we throw anything. If you look at the exhibition of in Noda here, and I'm gonna again make a video on this soon, you'll see like a board of shuriken and things like this. But we start off with simple things like rocks, right? You throw rocks, and you throw anything you have around you. You throw a pot, throw a frying pan, right? You throw a knife, whatever you want to throw. Throw a chair, It doesn't just have to be a shuriken, right? So yeah, you can throw just about anything you want. Axes, kamas, whatever you want.
東堂さんから。
誰？
東堂さんですね。はい。ですね。朝日手裏剣の質問した人ですね。はい。モーニングルーティンやナイトルーティン、トレーニングルーティンなどを見たいです。
そう。まあモーニングルーティンはモーニングルーティンはね、もう子供が騒いで俺が子供を学に送るのはモーニングルーティン。まああとモーニングルーティンは少しね筋トレして。
奥さんに撮ってもらえば。
そうだね。まあ maybe next time I'll have my wife take the video of my morning routine. Is this English or Japanese question? これ日本
語です。
日本語。まあ今度奥さんに撮影してもらおうかな。やっぱ少し筋トレして、あんまりね朝ごはん食べないね。少ししか食べない朝ごはん。そこからちょっと柔軟体操やったり、まあ天気がいいんだったらもしかして手裏剣を投げたりして、5分10分とかね。まああんまりねそんな激しいルーティンはないんですよ。
ですね。
So I don't have any crazy routines in the morning. I'm trying to run around and get the kids ready for school. I have a small breakfast. Sometimes I make like juice. Like this morning I made carrot, beet, apple juice with ginger, and some yogurt. Then I maybe go to the gym, do a little bit of workout, do a little running, do a little stretching. If the weather's good, maybe I'll throw a shuriken 5-10 minutes. But I don't really have a routine, so to speak. It's kind of irregular.For me, just like Kasumi Sensei, nothing is quite planned. It's kind of irregular what's happening on that day. To embrace what's happening on that day and run with that.
もう2つぐらい読んだら終わりにします
So we have 2 more questions, then we're going to take it off for the day.
2つか3つかな。
Again, thank you everyone for showing up. It's been such a pleasure.
ややこしいの飛ばしますね。
Okay.
読みやすいものから。
Okay.
タツさん。
たくさんありがとう。
たつさん、
たつさんありがとうございます。
この前の生放送で、
はい、
習志野さん
はい
と一緒にやってたじゃないですか、
はい、
で指の鍛え方を勉強できましたと、次は足の指の鍛え方を学びたいです。
足の指、わかりました。
鍛え方
気をつけてね。足の指痛めるとね、歩くのは大変だからね。ほどほどにして、習志野さんにまた来てもらって、多分なんだろうね、指と同じようになるんじゃないかな。あとね、鍛えるよりも足の指はね、柔らかくした方がいいと思うんだ。足の裏でもね。
実践道場さん。この人さっき名前。
ね、足指がね、硬くなっちゃうからね。で、バランスが悪くなっちゃうからね。足は本当に大切ですよね。So I'm saying this guy wants to know what's the way to train your feet like your fingers, right? I said, well, maybe you don't want to do that, but to keep your feet flexible and soft because these are very important. The base of your body, right? So you don't want to really damage your feet. And as you get older, your toes get stiffer, and you really have to work on keeping your feet from the extremities of your body working inward. You gotta keep them flexible and soft. So don't damage your feet for sure. Don't be kicking bricks if you can avoid it.
質問ですね。さっきたまに来ますよね。実践道場さん、さっき名前名乗ってました。ルイス・アコスタ。
ルイス、pleasure to see you, 実践道場。
ですね。他のグループの忍者の組織ですね。他の忍者のグループとどうやって会ってんですかって。で、あと他の忍者団体と一緒に何かやるようなプランはありますか？
Well, how do we meet them? I don't know. We just, it's like, my friend here knows some people. He knows this guy. We know that guy. We get in touch with them. So we're just kind of, we're letting kind of like the natural flow lead us on this part. And I think we're open to it. And that's what's most important, is being open to it and reaching out to people. If you see something somewhere that someone's doing something in ninjutsu or something, we reach out to them no matter who they are, and we see if we can become friends with them, and maybe something we can learn from each other. So that's we're just open like that, and that's how I think we make more connections.
こんな感じですね。
Well, again, everybody, we've come to the end of the live. So again, thank you so much for showing up. We're gonna try to get out that video on the exhibition soon. And I'm going to get some videos out on the English channel soon to help you sort of understand some of the philosophy of the Bujinkan. And we hope you like it. And hope to see you next week. We'll probably have Scott-san with us next week. So thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll see you soon. We appreciate you showing up. Thank you very much.